Well, hello everyone. This is Scott Roberts with Explore Scientific and the Explore Alliance, and we are in Nebraska at near the Merritt Reservoir and Valentine, Nebraska, home of the Nebraska Star Party. And we got Kent Martz here with us. Kent, you'll have to talk to get the camera on you. So,
Okay, thanks. Good to see you, Scott. Although I won't see Scott all this week because I'm in Nebraska at the Nebraska Star Party. We're actually sitting in the lobby at Valentine High School in Valentine, Nebraska, which serves as a base during the day for classes. And right now, the beginners field school is going on in the auditorium right over there. It's a really pretty high school. There's a lot of construction going on, new flooring and stuff. But it's first night of the event was last night, and it goes through Friday night. The forecast is looking really good. Hot, but scenes should be getting better. Transparency. There's been a little smoke in the sky, but I'm with John Reinert, and he's a member of the Prairie Astronomy Society in Lincoln, Nebraska. Tell us a little bit about your club, John,
Okay.
and what you saw last night.
Okay. Thank you, Kent. Uh, the Lincoln-based Prairie Astronomy Club has been in existence from the early 1960s. And of course, since we were all younger when we started, many of us are still very active and reaching out to our community. And we provide service there at the Hyde Observatory there in Lincoln. We certainly interact with the Omaha Astronaut Society and, of course, the Nebraska Star Party here in reaching out to the public. And we just have a lot of fun together.
So, what three clubs put on the Nebraska Star? It's three clubs, right?
By and large, but we do have little pockets of resistance there in Kearney or O'Neill. And
Yeah.
so there are amateur astronomers around the state that we also
You're
interact with.
drawing and
Yes,
and,
we
and you
do.
know, so
We encourage everybody.
so are you're sort of in the background for the Star Party, right? You're
Well,
not one of the really out front charters.
out front, but in support because it's easier for me. Well, for example, as treasurer there in Lincoln, I have a new member, a student, paid a reduced rate, and I followed up and got them added to our database, and we'll be reaching out to him for club events.
So you were here last night.
Yes.
What was the scene like?
Well, the dark skies, as one would expect, certainly a little bit of pea soup in spots at various times, but otherwise, I got to observe the things that I wanted to see, and of course, people as they walked by on Dobro, they could also benefit.
So what are you observing with? What telescope do you have
Well, I
out?
have the CPC 1100. It's about a 17-year-old machine, and I've learned all of its quirks. I've added
11 inches in diameter.
11 inches in
So
diameter. That's correct.
telescope about that big around.
Yes, indeed.
The benefit of a big telescope is what?
Well, the light gathering ability. So if I want to look at deep sky objects, they're there for the seeing.
So the bigger around the telescope, the more light it gathers in and squishes down so it goes in your pupil.
Well,
So you get more light, right?
right.
Okay. So what do you want to look at last night? And what did you think?
Well, since I upgraded my digital SLR for benefit of the eclipse in April, I wanted to start dabbling in some of that astrophotography. So we managed to get the camera mated up to the back end and start looking for those deep sky objects. And I have the best coach in the world, the fellow teaching the sky school right now,
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah, we'll have him on
Yes, you will.
about 4:15, something like that.
Okay. But anyway, we started out with like M20 and M51 and several M8 Lagoon. And
For
I
those of
know.
for those of you who may be watching, every hobby has its code, right?
Yeah,
Has
you
its
do.
nomenclature. And stands for Messier, a
Messier.
French guy who was a court astronomer in the 1700s looking for comets. And he started this list of things that weren't comets because they didn't move, and they were just faint fuzzy things. And now we know they're nebulas and star clusters and groups of stars and galaxies and all sorts of things. And really nice to see the scourge of light pollution is sort of making that tough.
Well,
Uh,
it taints things,
yeah.
but it does not remove the excitement.
Right.
Because as
You
you're dabbling with astrophotography, it's a completely different animal. I'm still committed to the visual. In
Mhm.
fact, I did field for the very first time that ES 92 degree
Okay, yeah.
extended
The
field of view
12
12
millimeter.
millimeter. That was my first exposure last night. I'm thrilled.
And you were happy,
I'm very, very happy.
very happy. Although the 92 degree, 12 millimeter, 17 millimeter eyepieces are spectacular eyepieces to use. And, but you can do astronomy from your backyard. Why come out here to the Sandhills in Nebraska? I mean, there's nothing around here. So why come here?
Well, I suppose it's the weather that either brings you in and keeps you staying, or it chases you away,
Yeah.
and both have their advantages. But yeah, the extended time spent with the sky, it's marvelous.
You know, I the setup was there's nothing here. That's why we came here, because there's no light pollution. I mean, it's dark. It's really dark. And had some people with me last night who had never seen the Milky Way before. They came to the Star Party because they're looking at a camper somebody has and buying one just like it. And he's like, "Well, I'm going to be camping this weekend." And so they came to this to look at the camper. And as the sun went down, they sat and we talked, and they had never seen the Milky Way before, and they were blown away. And now they're hooked. Now they had to leave today, but they're going to end up getting something, and like we got to come back and do this. They were just really excited about it. It's really dark. Now, if you want to come to the Nebraska Star Party, if you're sitting there with nothing to do for the rest of the week, and you want to jump in your car and just drive here, put your GPS to Merritt Reservoir, or, for a little bit more details, go to search for the Nebraska Star Party 2024, go to the webpage, and welcome. They'll pull you into the registration desk. You can pay your fee and come out and hang out in the field. If you've never done astronomy before, you can still come out and do it. You don't have to know anything about it, because people probably walked up to your telescope last night
Yes, they did.
and you were an old curmudgeon and chased them away, didn't you?
Not half of it.
Not
No,
have,
no,
everybody here, you walk
no.
up, they may say, "Hang on a minute."
You are as welcome as can be.
Yeah. They may finish that little thing they're doing,
No,
but then they're going to give you everything they can, as much time and information as you can get, to ask questions, look through a variety of telescopes. There was probably 100 telescopes set up last night.
easily.
It's wide field. It's on rolling sandhill prairie. We're not packed in here tight. We got plenty of room between people, but it's close enough that you can walk around and experience a truly dark sight. Now, tonight, I'm going to try to get a picture of my shadow on the ground, cast by the light of the Milky
Oh,
Way.
wow.
Not
So
by the
how are
moon.
you going to do that, Kent?
I am going to put my camera on a tripod and
Yeah.
put it on a time delay and take a 3-second exposure and start from there and just see what I can get.
And your
I've seen it.
shadow's going to be against what, a white board or
Right.
something, or
Yeah.
I'm probably on the side of my trailer, or
side of your
side of
trailer?
a
Okay.
trailer or
All
something
right,
like
that
that.
should probably work.
And so you can see it's so dark that the Milky Way is so bright. You can walk around without a red light. I walk around all night long. Don't use a red light. Don't use a flashlight. I walk slow. I feel with my feet. I know roughly where I'm going, although I have gotten lost a couple of times up there. Got over the other side and got okay where, but I
Hmm.
finally find a road or something. And there's
Mhm.
a cute little what? Oops, 13-month-old astronomer. A 13-month-old astronomer right here. Hey there. Hey there.
FaceTime.
Yeah, come over here. We're broadcasting out to the world. Here's maybe one of the youngest astronomers.
Oh, that is a young astronomer right there. Uh-oh.
Now we know.
One of the youngest astronomers here.
Now we know.
Yeah. That was awesome. One of the youngest astronomers, showing that this is a family affair. There's lots of families here, young kids, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. There's teenagers here. There's the whole span of ages here. And it's a great summer vacation. That's like what it's right in a good time. My wife's a school teacher. It's right before school starts, so it's a good come here, do nothing. And tomorrow she'll be sitting cutting out stuff. She's a kindergarten teacher. She'll be cutting out lemonade stuff, as part of vacation, just sort of. And she was sitting here where you are when we were getting the camera in focus. And she says, man, this is exciting. It feels good to be back in school and be ready to go. It gets her excited again. So anyway, Scott, any questions you got?
No questions. But I have a question. Which Nebraska Star Party is this?
The 31st.
31st. Last year was the 30th. That's right.
31st. Okay.
31st.
All
Yeah.
right. Wow, it's been a
And
long time. And did Merritt Reservoir get a International Dark Sky Dark Sky
correct.
Place Award?
International Dark Sky Park.
Dark Sky
Yeah.
Park.
Um,
Right.
So it
That's
was
quite
announced.
prestigious, I think.
Yeah, it was announced at the last Star Party. It had been done for a year ago.
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
and it really didn't take that much work. The hardest part was it's on a dam that the state owns, I think.
Mhm.
Well, they
But
collaborate with Game and Parks.
yeah,
And
so
there's a relationship.
they had to work with the owners of the dam and the lakes and parks and the water authority to replace and adjust all the lights on the dam because it was lit up like a Christmas tree with
Oh,
lights shining up in
replace
the
all
sky.
the lights on the dam.
They had to replace and re-aim and
It's
change.
a manageable project.
It was manageable. I mean, everybody was in. It just took the time and effort, and some money to do
So
it.
Ken and John, that would be called the dam light, right?
It was
Sorry.
it's right now it's damn good lighting, compared to what it was.
DAM, good
Yeah.
light, yes.
Yes, correct. That's
Mhm.
right. And otherwise, there's not a lot of streetlights. And the benefit here is it's 30 miles as the crow flies southwest of Valentine, Nebraska. The first thing you come to going south is 90 miles away, and it's North Platte. There's a couple of little towns of 20 and 30 people, but there's no significant streetlights there. So you
No,
gotta get to North Platte, 90 miles away. And the next closest thing is Rapid City, that's like 150
yeah,
crow
it's crazy
fly
dark
miles
out there.
away. And
Yeah,
and you go west and there's nothing for a couple hundred miles. And it is dark out here. And it gives you hear people say it was the dark of night. Well, if it's the dark of night, you can see well because the human eye is such a cool thing. I mean, if you just don't be scared of the dark and just get out there and don't use your phone, don't use a flashlight, just let your Mark 1 right and Mark 1 left eyeballs take care of it. And you'll be amazed at what you see. You just sit there for 45 minutes after it gets dark, let your eyes adjust. You're gonna be
right.
amazed at what you can see outside. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Well, great. Well, and what's going to be happening tonight? Just more incredible dark sky observing
same.
or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah,
special?
more observing. It was really weird, Scott. We got here yesterday afternoon and got in the trailer and opened the windows, and my wife said, "It's not too bad in here." Yeah, the temperature was 95 degrees in the trailer, but the
Ooh.
humidity was 27%, and there was a breeze blowing. So it was like
Oh,
amazingly
so it was all
comfortable.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So agenda for tonight, the moon comes up about 1:30.
Hmm.
So we'll be able to stay up a little bit longer. I didn't see the moon last night. My wife got up in the middle of the night and said it was really a pretty moonrise. And
I bet.
but we're gonna have Jupiter and Saturn, Mars, a couple of planets start coming up later during the night,
Hmm.
and early morning. But it's just the agenda is just to go out and find your favorite objects and look at them with the naked eye. Just sit there and in a chair and look up and just marvel at the prominence of the Milky Way. Um, try and pick out messy objects naked eye. I could see M13 last night in Hercules,
Hmm.
naked eye with no trouble. Um, it's just good.
Yeah, it's
Do the
like
hobby.
being in a natural planetarium, right?
It's weird. It's like being in a planetarium.
But it's
Exactly.
real.
But it's real. It's not
Yep.
fake.
How about the Perseids, I think, kicked off tonight. Did you see any meteor
We saw
falls?
we saw some
Delta
think
Aquarids.
Delta Aquarius, I was thinking they might have been
Okay.
the Capricorns last night. We saw there are a couple of minor showers
Yes.
going on right now, but there was a number of them that we saw that drew back to Capricorn, the constellation Capricorn.
Hmm.
So I think we saw 5 or 6 of those, and I saw probably 4 or 5 west to east meteors, which are, just oddballs coming from somewhere. They're not a meteor shower, but the Perseids should be kicking off here. And because we get a last quarter moon moving towards a new moon, um, good dark skies, no interference from from the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw a significant number of satellites last night.
I
Um,
bet.
and which is both cool but sad too. There was a bunch of them. I probably saw 2 dozen that were making a track northwest to southeast, which my experience tells me they were probably Starlink satellites because they
Uh-huh.
were all in a very, very similar orbit. And my guess is they were probably launched a couple of weeks ago and they haven't dispersed out into the constellation yet. And I had one picture I took last night with a unistellar. I had a satellite go through it. It's just the way it goes. But more and more satellites. I have a Starlink satellite system. I can work from my trailer where there's very bad cell service, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting pretty good
Yeah,
speed
there's
on the
benefits to
Starlink
it.
satellite. It's
Yeah.
you can't stop it, so you might as well join it and get the
Yeah,
benefits of it,
that's
right?
right.
So
That's right.
um, if you've never come to, if you can't make it this year, it's going to be a week earlier, I think, next year. Seems like, but you can look on Nebraska
Because it
Star
follows the
Party.
dark of the moon,
It
right?
follows the dark of the moon. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
plan to come up here. It's a great time. Super friendly people. They have, like I said, a beginner's field school on Monday and Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and on Wednesday, and then they do some awards and some talks on Wednesday as well. And they have an astrophotography contest. Thursday is a float trip down the Niobrara River, which the hotter it is, the colder the water is.
Ooh.
It,
Yeah.
the water is really cold. Um, and it's a great float. I did it back, I don't know, 20 years ago. And it's very relaxing to just get on into and float down a river that moves
Right.
along pretty well.
And Smith
Sure.
Falls is quite the attraction too,
There's a
Right.
waterfall, the Snake River
Yeah.
Waterfalls.
where the
Uh,
drop,
yeah, it's a very,
drop.
yeah, it's 85 foot and a couple of different falls, but very pretty as well.
Yeah.
There's some national wildlife refuges here, some national forests and state forest.
You're
Um,
an angler, fishing.
well, I talked to some people yesterday and they were packing up to go home. And I said, "How'd y'all do?" He said, "Oh, we did okay." And I said, "Oh, an okay day is fishing is better than a great day a bad day at work or a great day at work." And he went, "Well," and his wife says, "We did really well." And walleye, I suspect. Is it walleye? I think it's in the lake.
All right.
I think it's walleyes and some big walleyes.
My brother-in-law.
But there's a lot of boats out on the lake fishing. There's a lot to do here for during the day, just from astronomy. We've gone up to Mount Rushmore before,
Right.
the Black Hills,
Yeah.
Custer's Last
But
Stand.
I think that probably one of the great things about the Winter Star Party is it is a place where you really can go and chill. I mean,
Well,
you've got
the,
friendly
the
people, you've got
the
food
Winter
that's
Star,
nearby, but
yeah,
you're away
Scott, you
from
said winter.
all the noise and the
Yeah.
menagerie of civilization, and
So
it's
Scott, you said the Winter Star Party. You meant Nebraska Star Party.
Nebraska.
Winter
I'm
Star Party.
sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Well,
Winter,
even the Winter
Winter
Star
Star
Party is
Party.
a great place to go chill too.
It, it is,
Nebraska
but
even
you
more
got
so.
you've got the hustle and bustle of US one right there at the Winter Star Party. Up here,
That's true. That's
it's
true.
on a
Yeah, you're
uh
way off. You're way off
Nebraska
the highway.
97 or something like that.
Sounds right.
It's out, and it's just quiet, it's very, very relaxing. It's a good place to come to chill. And if you want to
Yeah.
do stuff, there's stuff around to go do. Last year, my wife and I went bird watching, and uh, we stopped at one spot, and Merlin identified, Merlin's an app that listens to the birds and identifies them, identified 36 different birds
Wow.
standing in one spot. And I saw like 18 or 20 of them and visually found them.
Hmm.
So it's a bird watcher's paradise as well. If you like to
Is,
play golf, there's a couple of astoundingly you're driving along, you see somebody out playing golf out in the middle of the prairie sandhills covered with grass. There's a couple of world-class golf courses here that there's an airport in Valentine, and there's some really big fancy jets that park out there. They're
hmm,
coming here to play golf,
I see.
at a couple of the golf courses. So um, this is a very cool place.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, that's great.
So
All
and it's
right.
got some cool people here too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll be back with more Nebraska Star Party Live.
About
So I
four
think
4:15.
about
About
4:15.
4:15, I
Okay.
think. So yep, something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe a little bit less than an hour from now. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Thanks.
In late 2022, the brightest gamma ray burst ever seen shocked astronomers, and even temporarily blinded many high-energy detectors in space. Now, a study of the first few minutes of this burst have found an important feature not seen before. Gamma ray bursts are the most powerful explosions in the cosmos. One that occurred October 9th, 2022, was quickly dubbed the Boat, the brightest of all time. Events like it may occur in Earth's skies only once every 10,000 years. As with most gamma ray bursts, the Boat arose from the death of a massive star. When its core ran out of fuel, it collapsed, creating a black hole in the star's center. Matter swirled toward the black hole, and some of it was thrown out along two jets moving near the speed of light. The jets drilled their way out of the star and blasted into space. We see a gamma ray burst when one of these jets happens to point almost directly at Earth. That happens somewhere in the sky almost every day. The closer to head-on we view a jet, the brighter it appears. This, along with an unusually narrow jet, is what made the Boat so exceptional. NASA's Fermi Observatory carries instruments specifically designed for studying these explosions. Its gamma ray burst monitor was saturated by the Boat's initial flash, but was fine a few minutes later. And it's in that data, around 5 minutes into the event, that scientists found something new. It's an emission line, a narrow band of enhanced brightness in light spread out in a spectrum. It only lasted 40 seconds, but it's the first one ever seen with high confidence during a burst. It gives scientists insight into processes within parts of the jet where gamma rays, the highest energy form of light, come from. Researchers say it's likely produced by electrons and their antimatter twins, positrons, colliding and annihilating within the jet. Each collision produces a pair of gamma rays, but it also works backwards. Two gamma rays can collide to form an electron and a positron. In the jet's environment, both processes occur, so there are plenty of particles to go around. For this to explain what Fermi saw, the gamma rays had to have been shifted to higher energies by their motion. This is similar to a siren rising in pitch as it races toward us. To get that boost, the particles emitting the gamma ray line must have been moving at 99.9% the speed of light. After decades of studying GRBs, scientists know little about the processes within these incredible jets, yet they're a staple of the cosmos. Now, Fermi has given us a brief glimpse inside.
Good day, everyone. This is David Levy. That's me. And I am holding the original Discovery films of our most important comet, Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. These films were taken on the 23rd of March, 1993. Carolyn discovered the comet on these films 2 days later. And about 16 months after that, all of the fragments of this comet collided with Jupiter, giving humanity its first view of what happens when a comet hits a planet. And And one of the exciting things about this is that when comets hit planets, they don't just drop dust. They also drop organic materials, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, which eventually turn into proteins, amino acids, RNA, and finally, on one magic day, DNA. Comet impacts are really the first step in the origin of life. I'd like to invite all of you to come to the next Global Star Party. They are run by Scott Roberts of Explore Scientific and me. We co-host this program, and it's usually done on Tuesdays, and
Have fun?
usually at 6 o'clock.
Is it over already? Huh?
Central Time. And so I hope to see you all there. My name is David Levy, and I hope to see you all at the very next Global Star Party. Thank you.